motivated. We all need a little motivation. Money keeping her motivated. We all need a little motivation. Money keeping me motivated. We all need a little motivation. Money keeping her motivated. We all need a little motivation. Keep all the real motivated. Keep all them little motivated. Maybach 600, it drove her crazy. Sure they gon' do it, she motivated. I've been neglecting the rover lately. I've been neglecting the sober lately.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Smooth Podcast, simply motivating others onward through hope. Here to the left of me, I have Freddie from Dreams of the East. How you doing, my boy?
I'm doing good. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. This was a long time coming. This is another friend of mine that I've known for a grip who, I actually got him out his comfort zone to sit on this couch with me and make his platform known, because I think what he's doing in clothing and the community is really one of a kind. So I wanted to make sure I had him here on this podcast.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. Like you said, it's well overdue, but timing is right. So, I think it's a perfect time to sit down and just talk about what's been going on in life and just the journey along the way. So I'm glad to be here.
So now let's talk about your early life. Where were you kind of born and raised?
Yeah, so born and raised in Brockton, city of champions, I feel like my city a lot of times gets like a bad rap, just all the crazy things that be going on. But I feel like I'm one of the people that's doing like positive things, one of many people that's doing positive things in the city. So it's like, it's good to be in like a platform like this to kind of shed light to all the beautiful things that are kind of happening in the city, from like artists, entrepreneurs to, scholars and athletes. So, it's a big city and like a melting pot. So you get exposed to a lot growing up. So I grew up in Brockton, and then I went to college in Providence, went to Johnson and Wales. So, I lived in Providence and Pawtucket for a couple of years, and then, lived in Atlanta as well.
What would you say are any of the differences between Brockton and then your time living in Pawtucket and Providence? What were kind of either the similarities or the differences between the two?
Both got inner cities and stuff, so that's gonna be similarities. You're gonna feel like, I'm surrounded by minorities, so I could just go to the bodega and get that vibe or feel like at home. But I think Brockton just has like a lot more going on. I think it's just like a lot more people in a bigger area, obviously too. Massachusetts is bigger, so it's just a lot that comes with like a lot of people in a condensed space. So
and now,
everything.
When you were at Johnson & Wales, what was your major?
I majored in sports management and marketing.
Oh, okay. So what was your vision at that time? Like, what did you want to do with that?
My dream was like to work in like college athletics, like Division I college sports. I did my internship with Brown University in like the athletic department, so I was exposed to that, and that was like really cool. So I always wanted to do something with college athletics, or like maybe like corporate level with Nike. I worked for Nike for a little bit after college too, so I got to see like the retail side, operations side, and then, like potentially like going on to corporate. But that's kind of what like led to Dreams from the East. Was like I had like a bunch of good jobs out of school and stuff, but I feel like I wasn't getting paid like what I was worth, or like what I feel like I was worth, and just like what my grind was going through in life. So through a passion of like making clothes and working in retail for so many years and working in sales and networking, like I said, I lived in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and then Georgia. So I met so many dope people along the way that I kind of had like a network and just family in so many states. Like, it's nothing for me to like call somebody in Cali or Miami, Georgia, and I have a place to stay for a week, and it's just like genuine friendships that I've built along the years.
Right. So I want to rewind a little bit. So how did you land the job at Nike? Because I can count on my hands how many people I've been jealous of in my life. But when I saw you working at Nike, I was like, man,
Yeah.
I wish I had a job like that. So how did you land that?
I think it was just the right time. So I graduated 2012 from JWU, and like I was faced with like a dilemma, like what am I gonna do? Like I was already in Providence for 4 years, so I was kind of over it. And I know I didn't want to move back to Brockton, and just kind of get caught up in all that stuff. So I kind of was like, all right, you know what? Like I had traveled during college, so I had went to Atlanta. I seen my cousin had moved down there, and I just liked Georgia. It was like something that felt different. It was like just the vibe down there, and I seen like I could just go down there and like figure my way. So as soon as I graduated school, that was like May. My uncle owned a club at the time down here in Providence, Dubai Lounge. You guys probably went out there.
Oh,
It was
wow.
legendary
Yeah.
nights. We threw a going neighbor party, me and my cousin Jerry, and then we moved to Atlanta that September. And then, like I said, timing was just right. They had just built a new Nike store near where I was living, so I had applied, got in that way, and then that time, like I said, I was kind of like entry level, trying to work my way up to like potentially corporate management. So that's kind of how like all that started.
So I mean, that seems like any young African American's dream to be 22, college educated, and now you're working for Nike.
Yeah.
So what was the transition going from like living your life in Atlanta to coming back home?
Um, it wasn't no transition because for me, like I always been like a grind. I always been like working. I used to work for Bank of America and like Expressions and Sneaker Junkies while I was going to school. So I was always like trying to get to it and like not trying to be broke. So always had a good work ethic, and I just was like, when I'm done with school and I don't have like to go to class and I just have time to just work, like I knew I'd be able to figure out life. So transition wasn't hard because it was just kind of like just a daily grind, and like just I had set goals. But yeah, then I kind of like I had some stuff going on with like health and stuff that I moved back home, and it was just kind of just figuring out my way, navigating through life, little obstacle stuff, and you deal with it, and then keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm. And now, so you're back home. When exactly is Dreams from the East born?
So that was I officially started the company 2015, but I would say for me, like I really started taking it serious like 2017.
Mm.
And that all happened by like chance of like I had never really been on Twitter like that or social media like that, but I had made a Twitter, and it was like my first week on Twitter, and I was just playing around with it, and like I was following like Chad Johnson, one of my favorite like athletes, just because he's like really active on Twitter, like he like responds to like
To this day, yeah.
to his following or his supporters. So I had went to Classic Custom, where I get my merch done. A lot of people out here get their merch done then too, A1 quality. So I had made some hats for the first time ever with my logo on it, and I had a bunch of colors. It was like, I think it was like around May, and I had just a bunch of flavors getting ready for the summertime and all that. And I was selling them like crazy just through like IG, people hitting me up, and I took a picture, tweeted. I'm like, oh, Ultra Cinco, can I send you some hats? Didn't really think he was gonna reply. Like I said, I had never really been on Twitter, so I didn't even really know how to use it. But he actually replied to me, and I got like 100 retweets off of that. So then I'm kind of like, what? This is crazy. Like, and to be real, like I had sold out of most of the hats. But with me, like I had got lucky because I had everything kind of set up in order with like my website. I had pictures of the merch, like did all like the behind the scenes stuff. So I was really sold out of merch, but I had the sales just keep going through on the website. So I had like $3,000 in sales go through. They kind of like fronted me the money real quick. I went to the shop. My boy Jeff, I just was like, yo, can I get these done in like a week? I'm just trying to ship them out. And then that's kind of like how it started. Like I seen like how social media and just marketing, if you really take it serious, like what could potentially happen off of me just kind of like throwing like a shot in the dark. And it worked out. I started kind of just brainstorming from there.
And that's really interesting to me, just as like a friend, because from way back in the day, I always remember like your like Instagram posts being like cool, but like somewhat like artistic in a way. And so it's interesting to me to know that like you weren't even really kind of like on social media to that level where like you're trying to do things on purpose, I guess. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like it just
yeah.
naturally like, oh, like I think this picture's cool, I'm gonna post it.
Yeah, I think I didn't really know I was creative till like later on, but I kind of always had like an eye for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I kind of just like fly things, so I kind of would like see it and just try to capture it. But I think in the beginning, like during the time when we met, like this is like 2011, 2012, 2013. That era in Providence was just like a wild special time. I was growing up out here, so um, I feel like just like a lot was going on, so it was kind of like not that a lot was going on. What I was trying to say is like when Instagram first started getting like popular, so I thought it was like the coolest thing to like go on vacation, or you meet people like in Cali, you meet people wherever in the country, and you could kind of like follow their life day to day. That's when like people were just posting what was going on before like the flex and all that. So um, growing up, and then with social media getting even more bigger after that, like it kind of I saw like what social media like could be if you use it the right way, and a tool like because it's like a database and like a digital Rolodex kind of
Right,
if
right.
you do business the right way, and people
Right.
mess with your page.
So you have like, Ocho Cinco retweet you. You have $3,000 worth of orders. Now, what's the next drop? And is it highly anticipated, or did they come and go with Ocho Cinco? Like, how did the next drop go?
No, so like I said, I had a big following just because like I went to Brockton High, so that school within itself is like 5,000 kids, and throughout growing up in Brockton, you know the same people like your whole childhood, so like you kind of become lifelong friends. But then as I moved to Providence and like having cousins and family out here, like I was always in Pawtucket, so I had like a lot of friends out here as well. So people like genuinely like um, rocked with me, wanted me to see me do well. And this is like when like certain clothing brands was out, but like it was kind of just like everybody was like dibbling dabbling into entrepreneurship
It
or
was
throwing
like
events.
the
Everybody
hot thing
was,
to do.
yeah, everybody was figuring out whatever their niche was, and I just kind of stuck with it. So once I flipped the hats, I just kept taking the money and just kept flipping it. So I made some T-shirts, started doing like jackets, and then eventually I started like doing sweatsuits. Like getting like probably like the last 2-3 years is when I like kind of rebranded my logos, like started taking it serious, went all out on my website, got the e-commerce to like down to a science to where now it's like all smooth. I capture emails and databases, so it's kind of like I'm building the brand as I go, and I'm lucky enough to have so many like friends that support the brand and cop the merch that like they be like walking billboards for me. So it's like how many times you done been in Boston or somewhere and you had a hat or somebody had some merch, and you guys just kind of connected off of that, and so you guys know Freddie, and it's kind of like all organic love. And I'll get text all the time like, yo, I seen this over here or whatever. So it's like it's genuine, so I really appreciate it.
And one thing I can say about you, and I feel like, me and you might have this in common. What about you do you think attracts those kind of people that want to support, that, whether you're in Miami or Cali, you can stay at their house? Like, what quality do you think, or qualities about you do you think attract people in that way? Because not everyone has that ability,
Yeah.
has that just vibration or frequency of like, oh, this is a good person. Like, I'm a rock with them just off like the strength. Like, first time meeting them, hey, like, what's up?
I think I'm just a genuine person, and like, I believe in good karma, good energy. So I'm like, I didn't never did like no grimy, dirty stuff to nobody, never robbed nobody, no disrespect. So like, I got morals and principles, and I deal with people as I would want to be dealt with. So I'm just a respectable person, and along the way, like I've met, beautiful people in my life, and I cherish relationships, and like I understand like life is like growing up in Brockton. You realize like you like to believe like you're gonna be alive for a long time and all, but life is short. It's so unexpected with things that happen. Like even like recently, like the city's kind of going crazy, and we're losing like a lot of people to violence, and it's just like, for me, I lost a lot of people in my life, so I just cherish relationships as I meet them. And I try to be like, if somebody ever has like a last memory of me, it's like, he was a good dude, he was solid, he was thorough, like, he never did nothing foul. So I just move with good energy, and it comes reciprocated. It gets reciprocated.
And just on that note, I often think to myself, it's easier just to be a good person. Like,
Exactly.
I don't know why people complicate things. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people be like, "Oh, I don't know how you," and it's just like, yo, like, it's easy. Like, it's actually hard for me, like, not to like someone or to have hatred of someone. Like,
Yeah.
that drains me in a negative space. So it's like,
Yeah,
I don't get why
agree.
there's not more people like that, I guess,
It's not hard to be a good person, and like, a lot of opportunities that I've gotten in life is just of being a good person. Like, when I had moved back from Atlanta the first time, and like, I was like lost trying to figure out what I'm about to do, like where I want to work. Like, I honestly called a teacher of mine, Mrs. Quigg from high school, bro, that just always looked out for me. She always believed in me, and like, kind of just made me believe in myself when I didn't, when I was like a young boy. So she plugged me into an opportunity, and kind of got me like back on my feet. But that all comes from just being like a good person, keeping in touch, like having genuine love for people. And like, when you allow people to like get you like out your routine, or you, like you said, have that hatred towards somebody, negative energy, it's like they got control over you, and you carry that burden with you. And I don't have time for none of that. Like, I'm so locked in and focused on the future, trying to help people, that like my family, that I don't have time for like that petty high school stuff. So yeah.
And now back to the business side of things. Has there been any setbacks or anything that kind of caught you left that you're like, wow, I didn't even like think that would happen, but it ended up happening, and now you have to fix something? Or has there been anything unprecedented that you initially didn't think would happen?
Just trial and error, like learning as I go. Because I have like businessmen and people that I know that do business in my life, but I had nobody really to like sit there and show me, and no one in life is gonna sit there and show you. Got to figure it out. So, I'm a student of life, so just learning as I go and making errors. And like, before, like right now, the last 2 years I've been on a run where I've been so locked in that everything's just been like hitting. But it took like 3 to 4 years of like messing up and kind of like trial and error, messing up thousands of dollars with sizing and manufacturers, that you learn as you go. And I just been blessed to, I finally found like key manufacturers that I deal with. I stay consistent, where now it's like with social media, like I do a lot of the business just through email and, just digitally. Like, I could send my orders, my markups. I don't have to fly nowhere, go nowhere. Like, everything is like in a system that it's like, it's a smooth assembly line.
Yeah, I mean, having a concrete system, that's pretty essential, in any business, for real. Like, and it's to a point where you don't really have a business until a proper system is in place. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
on that note, when it comes to the distributors and things like that, have you kind of knocked on anyone's door or DM'd any clothing brands or clothing people, like, hey, like, and ask them for advice about who they use? Or is that kind of taboo to ask in the fashion industry?
I wouldn't say it's taboo. I just haven't done it. I feel like when you're dealing with, like, especially like the big level people that people look up to, or the inspirations, it's like probably like half the time there's so much traffic going on that they probably not even gonna see the message, or they're not gonna respond. So it's like, you just gotta figure it out. Like I said, like earlier, like in life, nobody's gonna like give you the answers. Right now too, with the internet and Google, like there's no excuses. You know that, bro. Like, anything you want to learn how to do, you want to know how to start a business, how to get an EIN number, you can just Google any question, and Google will direct you, and you just got to do the little bit of groundwork, honestly. And nobody's gonna want it as bad as you. So You know, I just figured it out. Like, but the best teaching, the best lesson is messing up money. So like I said, trial and error. You might have something in your mind that's gonna go this way, and you're gonna make this type of profit, and then it comes and the sizing is wrong. You can't do anything with it. You just gotta eat it and charge it to the game, and not get discouraged, because those are just small hiccups in along the way. So anything you want in life, you're gonna have to fight for it, and it's not gonna come easy. Or you're not even gonna appreciate it when you get it. And you know, I felt that with certain things too. So,
And now, how was the process deciding your price points? I'm always curious to know, because everyone has different price points slightly. What was your decision making on what exactly your price point should be?
um, honestly, just somebody that's worked in retail, um, somebody that purchases merchandise and shops, and I spend money, and I know what's quality and what's not quality in all different levels. It's like sometimes people might be, oh, your price is too high, or it's not high enough, or whatever it is. But the people don't understand like a lot of the behind the scenes work that goes on, and to just even like take something that's in your brain, put it to like physical paper, and then make it into a physical product. It's like a lot of like logistics and behind the scenes to turn something into that product that's even worth selling, that somebody can be, you know, I'll pay you my hard-earned money for this, you know, for your idea, because it's so many competitors and so many hoodies and t-shirts. But you know, if you take a look in, like I said, the time and effort that goes into the design, the quality, the shipping, especially if you're getting things from overseas since the pandemic, like you know, importing products and shipping costs is like double, triple. So all of that plays a factor into going into the price point. So, but usually one rule that I learned was with retail, or if you want to sell a product, it should be like 3 times the cost of what it cost you. So like, let's say if something costs $20 to get manufactured, if you're selling it at a retail level, it should be at least $60. And then if you have like distributors, you know, you want to give them like the middleman price, it might be like 40. You give it to them in bulk or whatever. But that was something that I learned along the way. But yeah,
And
price
like,
is the price. Set your price and live your life.
yeah. And speaking about price points, like, you know, recently Kanye West got into it with Adidas. One of the many reasons was because they were basically taking his designs and putting them on shoes and putting them on a smaller price point for the masses to buy, when he reports that that was his vision all along, you know, not
Yeah.
um if there was a bigger conglomerate that wanted you or wanted Dreams of the East to be embedded into their company, what would be some of the points that you would have to consider to make you either jump to it or stay away from it?
Um, you know, you want to do business with if any company is reaching out to you to like do business with you, or you know, try to help elevate your brand off rip, as a business owner, you should already know that you have like a product that is worth something. So you have to be able to like negotiate and know your value, and not just be, you know, like geeked up off the clout and just doing bad business just because of like likes, you know, people living for likes. So it got to make sense. So like I said, if somebody's reaching out to you, then they already see some type of vision or some type of, you know, business endeavors that they could probably either assist to and help take it to another level or anything. But it just has to make sense. So it would probably have to be like a partnership where you have equal control, because a lot of times when contracts get involved, it's kind of like, um, you know, you gotta give more than you're gonna kind of probably end up receiving. So you don't want to sign away everything that you've built, years of building up a brand, and then sign a contract for just like some clout, and then, you know, they take the vision completely left. So that's when you get like, you know, lawyers and all that involved and make sure the business is done correctly. But you know, you want to have creative control. So kind of like you're not in this situation where everybody knows what Kanye West brings to the game and like his vision, and he's definitely like a genius when it comes to product and innovation and music. But you know, when you do business and you kind of like, when him and Sway was going back, and Sway, you don't got the answers. When Sway's like, why don't you just do it yourself? And, you know, I feel like with pop culture and this generation, social media, like celebrities have such a following and a network and people that they can tap directly into the consumers, like how Nip was doing it, to where you could get your product to the people. It's just obviously like the logistics behind the scenes of manufacturing, and so there's not delays and, you know, people not pre-ordering and waiting 3 months for their product. But, you know, that's what comes with the game. So now he did business with them and they had like a smooth run. But now when there's this issues, it's like they own the intellectual property. They're even saying like, you know, they're gonna set the prices to what they want to be, or they dropped him as like an endorsement or whatever he was with them, but they're still gonna sell his product. So it's kind of like a slap in the face, like, I got you.
When he said that, like that Yeezy day or whatever happened without his consent, and I was like, oh man.
Oh yeah,
like,
when they went online crazy. And everything was like, yeah, they gonna do what they do. They gonna definitely, it's like a clearance sale. They're not gonna take a L. They rather like break even than just, or something. You know, sometimes they make a statement and just take the L and be like, it is what it is. Like, but.
And so, you know, you mentioned previously about Ocho Cinco. What other, and I seen recently you had a football player actually wear your designs. What are some notable people that have also gravitated towards Dream Release?
I've sent merch to like the Girl Code. They're like an up and coming group out of New York. They're fire. Like they got real bars, like bringing like that New York swag, that New York hip hop back. Like I said, Ocho Cinco, my boy Jay Uno plays for the Seahawks. My boy Marksman Cut plugged me in. He's the barber. He plugged me in with a couple of the Pats players. But I'm trying to, you know, just grow it, like I said, organically. Try to, anybody knows me, like I ride around with the merch in the trunk, so you know, you never know who you might run into. We be outside, we be in the city, so we be in Seaport. So I remember one time we was going on a trip and the whole crew showed up at the airport and had on like different Dream sweats or like hats. And as we're getting on the plane, some guy in first class and like, Dreams, what's that? And then my boy Jordan, he's just like, you know, that's the lifestyle. Like it's, you know, what it is. So
it's funny. I remember the last piece I picked up, you sent me the address. And so I pull up over there and Foreman, shout out to Foreman, he was there. We both get out and we were like waiting for you. We felt like fiends. Like, yeah, we're waiting for that Dreams merch. Like, gotta have it.
Love.
We're just waiting.
I'll be pulling up. You guys show love, pull up, save me a trip. I'll send it out. Like, you know, just, e-commerce is crazy. So during the pandemic and during that Twitter, like, era, and like I said, social media, like building up IG, like I'm making sales in California, sales wherever, and it's kind of like, oh, all right, I see where this can lead to. So I started working on like the foundation, making sure like I had a strong website. I didn't went back and forth with my guy, Johnny Graphics, does like my design work, did my website. I'm always sending him people, just like people always have ideas, like who did the website? Like I get compliments on it, but it was all like trial and error and going through multiple things. But I finally got it right. So like I knew eventually like this day where like I'm doing merch and I'm selling out consistently, it was gonna come. So I wanted to make sure like I didn't have no hiccups when the day came. So I kind of did like all that behind the scenes.
And now this is a super diehard question that I've been meaning to ask you. I was actually gonna shoot you a text, but because I knew you were coming on the podcast, I was like, let me just ask him on the podcast. I had dinner with my fiance and my mom. I took them out to eat, and my mom let me have it. She was like, Ray, like, stop posting this, stop posting that. Like, you're about to have a family soon. Like, you don't want to jeopardize them in any way, blah, 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 blah. And I'm telling her, I'm like, oh, like, I'm not doing what I do to necessarily, like, belittle anyone, but it's to motivate people. Because when I was coming up, that's what used to motivate me. Like, oh, he got that. Oh, he did that. Like, oh, that's what's up. Like, I can't wait till I get to that level. I see you post actual like number sales. Like you'll post like how much money such and such did. What was the decision to do that? And, you know, have you kind of been back and forth with that? Like, oh, I don't know how people are gonna receive this. Like what's your
Yeah, no,
thought
for sure.
process with that?
I overthink a lot, so like I be thinking about stuff like that, and like I said, just growing up in Brockton, like it's like a gift and a curse because like it makes you paranoid with like a lot of things in just life and reality, and you get daily reminders all the time. Like you could just be minding your business and like unfortunately get like your brains blown out. So it's like always move alert and move cautious. But I feel like with the e-commerce thing, like I did that. I think I posted it twice, and it was just to show people like you could really do something if you really put your mind to. I don't care if it's like you have a flower business, cupcakes, auto detailing. Like if you really dedicate yourself to something, it's not really hard. Like anytime somebody hits me up about like what I'm doing and they have questions, like I always give them like the starter pack and like direct them like get you a fire like logo graphic. You know this. You got multiple brands, so you get you like a logo. You don't even necessarily need a website in the beginning. You can do your IG, make it look presentable, presentation, and then figure out what the product is. Make sure you like don't just try to finesse people and get over on them and just be selling them something. Like make a quality product, and then just kind of trust your gut and just keep flooding them with it. If keep marketing like crazy. You got to take some L's and give out free product, get people to try it, see it, touch it, just to see like this is like real deal quality, and anything that you put out that's like genuine and good work, like people are gonna speak highly of it if you took your time, and it's like worth spending money because nothing under the sun is new. Like there's like 100 toilet paper brands, but everybody still has a lane, and you find your customer base and you just market to them and keep evolving. Market.
So here is like my kind of like in-depth questions that's gonna make you think a little bit. First question: how do you measure success?
For me, I measure success as just like being free. Like to me, it doesn't matter how much money you have. Like as long as you're like healthy and you're able to wake up every day and do what you love, then you're successful. And that's what I love about my life. Like I've been through all stages of having a 9 to 5. Even now, I have a job now, but it's like work around to my schedule where I don't really miss no. I'm not overworking myself, and everything's kind of just like super smooth. But I get to wake up, set my schedule. If I want to take a vacation, I could take a vacation when I want to. But that didn't happen overnight. It was like 3 to 5 years of like a consistent grind of not even looking up and realizing like what I've done. Where like when I started taking my brand serious, like 2017, 2018 till now, bro, I probably dropped like 200 products, like 200 items in like multiple like quantities. So it's like when I go back and I go on my website and I look at like all like the stuff that's already been out and things that I haven't even posted, that's when I realized like, dang, like this grind has been serious to where now I'm kind of like, I have a system and I could chill, or I could, like I said, go on a trip, come back, drop something, and I know like I have a range of what it's gonna do because I had been built like a loyal like following, and I'm continuing to build it. So that's why I love, and I was grateful to do this opportunity because it's like you said earlier, it's like it's not my comfort zone to sit here and even talk about myself, but like we really work hard and like we really be like we do like the real thing. So it's like I'm just trying to document like the journey along the way, because I remember watching like a Gary V clip, and he was just like, when you have kids in the future, or you're trying to like describe the moments of like 2012, 2015, whatever moment in your life, unless you have like photos, videos, like some type of digital content, you can't really express that memory or that emotion that you felt. So I don't back to even your question, like I try not to overshare, but I try to like document things that I think is like worth documenting and building like the brand. Like it's like a lifestyle brand. So when we go on vacation, we show what we're doing. We wearing merch, we getting fly, we partying and having fun, like just living life. Cause it's not promised. So, and what's the point of just working and not like enjoying like the benefits of all the hard work you put in.
Right. I agree 100%. Would you rather be loved or respected?
I would rather be loved, and for reason why I say that is like somebody could like respect you, but they could respect you like while they're dealing with you like face to face, but behind your back, they could be talking dirty about you or just not really like be feeling you like that. But if you're loved, like you could always have a place to stay. Somebody's always gonna show love to you. You might not have no money, but they might feed you. Like you could get by, and like that kind of goes back to that whole being a good person. Like everybody falls and has bad days or bad moments. So like you're not always gonna be Superman or Superwoman. So when you're loved and people got genuine love for you, they're gonna see that and they're gonna see like, you just having a moment, they're gonna help pick you up. So I'd rather be loved.
The two individuals that you brought with you, what are their names?
My boy Chris and my boy Jamal.
So if I went to Chris and Jamal respectively and I asked them each, what's the one biggest thing that you have to work on, what would each one of them tell me?
Probably that I'm probably like stubborn sometimes. Not stubborn, but like I have a hard time asking for help. So I don't know what that would be, but yeah, probably like asking for help. I kind of just take on a lot and just have that mentality like I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna always figure it out, but I'm working on that. Yeah, I'm definitely working on that.
What or who is your biggest inspiration?
My big inspiration is my grandmother. She's just a hardworking person, genuine, great soul, great heart. She's just a grinder and a hustler. Like in Cape Verde, she's from Cape. I'm Cape Verdean, so they was born and raised in Cape Verde. She had multiple like businesses, bodegas type out there, and then came to America like as an old lady, like and still worked. She told me a story one time where she used to work in the factories in like Pawtucket, where she used to work like an 8-hour shift. This is back when they used to get like paid like $4 an hour. She'd get out the shift, go to the crib. The kids would come home from like high school or school, make them a meal real quick, and then go back to like another factory for like the late night shift and like do stuff with like the linens and stuff. And just like her work ethic and just always just being like a person that you could go to for anything and just be there for support and just kind of like not judge you. And then to where she's at now she got like multiple properties and she's like super chilling, but she's just a great person.
I mean, just hearing that kind of is inspiring. Like I don't even have to know her personally,
Yeah,
and just
she's
to
a
hear that story
go-getter.
is crazy.
And she's not like bitter about nothing. She's been through a lot in life. Like she lost her mom when she was like 4 years old. So can you even imagine like
Wow.
going through that as a young person in another country, coming to America and like chasing the American dream? And that's kind of what Dreams from the East is about too. Is like paying homage to my family from Cape Verde. So it's like my passion for art and fashion and clothing and cars and my culture, excuse me, and just like my love for my family and like trying to create like something of ownership that we could have and like, hopefully build a brand like Rockefeller or Bape or Nike and, be chilling, residuals.
What do you believe that most people don't?
I believe that you can manifest the life that you want, and some people might not truly believe that, or they hear that saying and think it's a cliche, but literally everything in my life I done visualized, seen, thought about it. Like and just lay it out a plan. You know, you can't just be wishing for the stars and not really applying day-to-day life. So you got to be realistic with yourself and hold yourself accountable. So, and the thing with me is like I dream super big, bro. Like I probably, you know, set goals that most people probably don't think are realistic, but I know like I have supreme confidence in myself, and I know like I have a crazy work ethic, and I just try to every day like brick by brick work to whatever like the goal is. And you know, I kind of set goals in like moments where it's like short term, long term, and then you know down the line. But yeah, I believe in you can manifest the life you want.
Top 5 current artists that you listen to.
I'm bad with stuff like this. Anytime somebody puts me on the spot, I go with blank. But top 5, who am I listening to right now? I gotta look at my phone because, like I said, I listen to a lot of music. But definitely number 1, ESTG. He goes crazy. CEO Trail. I listen to West Side Gun a lot. Central C from London. He's dope. And then I'm gonna give you one more. Probably 2. I'm gonna give you Joey Fats. And then
Joey Fats is tough.
Oh, Lee Ford. Lee Ford is crazy.
From Philly?
He's crazy. Yeah. And Nip's always like Nip and Hove is always
playing
in the background.
Yeah. Joey Fats, man, I feel like nobody knows about him, but he's tough.
He's tough. Everything he got going on, he got a dope brand, Cutthroat, got a storefront, does the music, just keeping it like that blueprint. He's following the blueprint, and he built something organic that it's dope to see.
What's your most regretful purchase?
My most regretful purchase was the dumbest thing I ever bought in my life. It was in I think it was when I first moved to Atlanta, so it was probably like 2013. I bought a Range Rover. I bought a Range Rover in Georgia, just not even thinking, just trying to flex. Drove it to Miami with my boys, my boy David Stallworth, and I think my other boy David Soda. But we had a great time. My boy Darren was like trying out for the NFL, so he was about to get drafted. He had agents, so he was like put up in a crib in Miami doing his thing. We went out there, partied. But I'm in Georgia, like, we're used to being up north where you can go to the corner store, 5 minutes around the corner. Georgia, everything is 30 minutes. Like, that's an easy drive. That's a short drive. So I'm spending like $100 every 2 days in gas, bro. Like V8 going crazy. Like, I got rid of that thing in like 6 months. But yeah, that was the dumbest thing I've ever bought.
If you could have lunch with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Dead or alive? Honestly, probably my uncle. My uncle passed away. He was 22. The reason why would be I have memories of him when he passed away. Like, I was like 10, so I had memories of like seeing him grow up through high school and things like that. But we never had like an adult conversation or just talk about things that I went through, that he went through, or kind of guide you through things. But that'd probably be who I would have a lunch with or dinner with.
When it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered?
When it's all said and done, I just want to be remembered as somebody, like I said, like a genuine soul, somebody who's definitely just a go-getter, like just a smart businessman, a hustler, like somebody that lived life on my terms. I did it my way, and just I followed my dreams, whether it's like through clothing or realistically, I want to use like the clothing sales and everything that I'm doing with my brand to open. Like, I would love to open like a sports facility. So imagine like walking into like a big warehouse and it's like a basketball court. I got like a fly like minimalist like boutique in this building. I got computer rooms. I got a classroom. It's kind of like a boys and girls club, with like a little bit more modern and stuff. We could have like sports leagues and all that, like just a a hub for kids to come through and just chill, like whether they could be creative, artistic, you know, like have like an art room and like all this going on in like this one facility. And like I feel like that's something that's a big dream. Like I said, like I dream big, like owning a facility or something like that. So it's something like to keep me focused and working towards, and you know, try to meet people along the way that want to help me, you know, want to donate some bread or some grant money, or we got plans, and I got a whole system laid out in my phone, like what everyone has a role. So, you know, I think it's definitely gonna happen in the future.
Um, any questions for me before we wrap this up?
Um, for you, like I know you're doing a lot of things. Like I know you have the office day to day. You have your degree. You have obviously smooth events. Um, I know you wanted to like shed light with the podcast and just kind of give other viewers like a perspective of like different entrepreneurs and people that like are doing their thing in the city. But like, what made you like kind of put this together? Because even when we walked in, you seen like my boys was just like they weren't expecting this, and it's like definitely a smooth setup, and it's you know, anything you do is always like presented well. So, but like, yeah, what made you get into like this lane?
So like I've kind of alluded to, this has been a passion project that was. Is any in here? Any? Well, when did I want to do a podcast? Yeah. So it was probably like maybe pre-pandemic, like right pre-pandemic. I wanted to do a podcast, but I didn't know who I wanted to do it with. Second thing is like the topic. So like what you mentioned before, I'm a mental health therapist. So I couldn't go too off board with the topics and then like, you know, and still have like my professional side. So that was a little iffy. So I really needed to narrow in on exactly what I wanted to do. And for the last year and a half, I've been highly just gravitating towards self help, self improvement, and like platforms that highlight entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? And so I didn't see anything like that around here. There might be other like podcasts and stuff, but I don't think any kind of do a deep dive.
Right.
And it's like kind of like a face-to-face conversation and an in-depth conversation the way we do it here.
For sure.
So I just want to provide a different element for people to look into. And from day one, I was like, listen, if I get 5 views, if I get 500 views, like 5,000, like that is irrelevant to me. And I just like, I feel good knowing that like, I do feel like this is part of the reason why I'm here. It's because I just know so many people.
Yeah, no, that's real.
From all these different walks of life. And even someone like you who like may be uncomfortable after today, you might be like, man, like, you know, Dreams of the East needs its own vlog. You know, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
To me, it's like once I start doing it, it's like right now we just had a like organic conversation, so it was not even a big deal. But I respect that too, because even along the way, like you said, you're a mental health therapist, which I commend, because a lot of people don't talk about, like everyone with social media paints like the highlight reel of their life and everything's so peaches and cream, but we all human and we're not invincible, and we deal with stuff that, you know, we may not want to show the world. But it's like a opportunity in a space that people either can come out here and just like showcase their personality, or like I said, highlight their business, or just vent. It might be a therapy session, so that you're giving people that platform. So I definitely respect it, bro.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And lastly, if there's somebody out there who is on their path but kind of had to take 3 steps back, or just suffered a major failure or a major loss, what's something that you can tell that person to motivate them to get back on the right path?
I mean, whatever it is that you're doing, that if you believe in or you're passionate about it, like you gotta just follow your gut and just be consistent. Like my brand is to where it's at, and it's continued to elevate just because I'm super consistent, and like I drop all the time. Like there might be times where I'm not the most creative, but there'd be moments where I'm like in a super creative zone, so I might just cook up a couple of pieces of Photoshop and just have them saved in the vault and just, drop them periodically throughout the year or as the seasons. Like Halloween just happened, I did like a little Halloween drop. So, but with anything, it's like anything that you want in life is like I said, is worth having. It's gonna be difficult. You're gonna go through like the gutter through go to obtain it. So like you can't give up. Like there's been times that I've mad times that I wanted to just be like, I'm kind of done with just making clothes, or I'll just go work and just do a 9 to 5, come home and just chill. But I would always be like unfulfilled, or I'd be at work thinking about like my brand and ideas just flowing naturally. So I'm like, this is the only thing that doesn't feel like work, and it comes to me organically, and like I figured out my lane. So I just work on my craft, weekly, daily, and just try to like get better every time I do something, and try to like have a better quality or a better product, presentation when I do drop. And like I said, I'm not no genius or no level of like Bape or anything like that, or brands that we look up to. But,
Yeah.
We working to get there, and it's like I like the path and the journey that I'm going and the pace that I'm going, and like people are rocking with me and I'm rocking with them for sure. So I definitely appreciate the support, because I had like 3-4 years where I didn't have to work while I was getting like my health together, where it was like my brand was supporting me because of like the people, they was spending their money where they could have went to Nike or Saks or wherever, and it's like for whatever reason, they took a liking to my stuff. So that's why I pull up on people. I might send them like like a personal message and just be like, yo, I really appreciate you like shopping with me, because I know you didn't have to, and people just respect it.
Well, I definitely thank you for coming here tonight. It's been an honor, a hell of an interview, and I hope to see you and your business keep on growing to heights that you can't even imagine.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you having me. For sure, we definitely got some things in the way, so trying to take it to another level for sure.
Yeah. All right. Y'all stay smooth out there.